Hello everyone and welcome to Life Transformation UK. My name is Ben, and in this video today I want to talk about how you can create a support network in your life. So what exactly is a support network? Well, these are the people who are going to be helping you to achieve your goals in life. And they can be anyone really. They can be friends, they can be family members, they can be your therapist, they can be your coach, they can be your mentor. Almost anyone can be a part of your support network. These are people that you can rely upon for personal support, for emotional support, and they can provide you with practical help whenever you are facing some kind of difficulty in life as well. Now, we mustn't conflate having a support network as being the same thing as having friendships, because they are entirely different. There are some things, for example, that you would not share with certain friends that you would share with your support network. There are many friends that I have, for example, that I would not share very, very personal, intimate stuff with, that I perhaps would share with my support network, because there is those differing levels there that you have to kind of contend with. My personal support network consists of mainly my family and some very, very close friends that I have built up over the last few years, but a support network is going to look very, very different to every single person, and my support network now looks very different to what it used to be, when it mainly consisted of the therapist that I had at the time and one friend that I felt that I could connect with. So over time, my support network itself has very much evolved into what it is today. Also importantly, you can find support networks for very, very specific things, and I think the best example of this is Alcoholics Anonymous. That is a support group specifically for people who are suffering with alcoholism, and it connects you with people who are going through the same problem as you are. So why do you actually need a support network? Well, there's a few reasons for this, and the first one being that support networks can really help you through stressful times in your life. They can be there as a literal support system to hold you up and to provide you with the help and the advice and the empathy needed to get through whatever problem it is that you are going through in your life. It's also very good for your overall levels of self-esteem, because if you have a support network, this means that people care for you and that people love you and people want the best for you, and that is always a good thing for your general sense of confidence and your general self-esteem as well. My personal experience with having a support network is that it has helped me tremendously. I'm definitely not dependent on the people in my support network, but I know that I can rely on them when things get tough, that I can give them a call, I can speak to them, and they will help me through it. Now, importantly, a support network does not have to be this formally defined thing like Alcoholics Anonymous, for example. Most support networks are kind of informal structures that you've put together in your mind of people that you can trust to help you through certain things. One of my main problems when I was suffering with anxiety and depression, being stressed all the time, being angry all the time, was that I didn't feel like people cared for me, and I didn't feel like I had those connections. And when I started seeing a therapist and started really understanding that I do have those connections and that they are there for me, I was able to form better connections. I was able to problem solve a lot faster, because I knew that if I was going through something, I had a therapy session that week, or if it was something that I needed help with in kind of a more immediate sense, I knew that I could contact a friend that I really trusted. And it very much developed from there. So it started off quite small, and I was over time able to grow my support network. Now, one of the key things to remember is that it's always going to be easier to build up a support network when times are good. And if times are good for you right now, then this is when I would recommend you start to build a support network, because it is a little bit more difficult when there's a massive struggle going on, or there's a massive problem that you are trying to work through and you haven't got a support network to fall back on to help you at all. But if it has come to the case where it is time to build a support network, maybe you're not in an amazing place right now, the first thing that you are going to want to do is ask yourself, who do I trust? Or more specifically, who do I trust with this problem? Because there's different people in my life that I will trust with certain problems that I wouldn't entrust with others. For example, I have friends at work that I would not discuss my finances with, but I have friends that I am a lot closer with that I would discuss that with if that kind of a topic or that kind of problem arose over time. So to build a support network, and you can have multiple support networks for individual things, you want to ask yourself, who can you trust, or who do you trust to help you in this area or that area? And in certain cases, the answer is very much going to surprise you. I did not realize that I had so many people in my life that wanted to help me and that were willing to help me until I started asking myself about who I trusted. And the great exercise for this is what Brené Brown calls marble jar friends. If you haven't read any of Brené Brown's books on vulnerability and trust and things like that, I highly recommend you do, because she brings up this amazing analogy of trust being like a marble jar, and every time somebody performs a small action which builds trust with you, you are putting a marble in this jar until one day that jar is full and you can trust that person kind of implicitly. And obviously if trust gets broken, then you take marbles out. So if you can establish a list of people that you can trust with a certain problem, then you can move on from there. Just reach out, speak to people, be open, be honest, be vulnerable. And I'm going to go over some kind of best practices for a support network a little bit later on. But one of the things I will always preface this sort of conversation with is realizing that other people have their own problems too, and sometimes they might not be available to help you through what you need help with in this moment. And that is why I encourage you to build a support network, not fall back on a support person. And the key thing here is that this is all about support and not about reliance at all. You have to take responsibility for the actions that you are going to take and the consequences. And your support network is more there to just help you through that, rather than making the decisions for you and being the person that kind of takes on all the risk and responsibility. At the end of the day, the risk, the responsibility for action taking is all on you. Now, there's going to be some people who are going to say that there is absolutely no one in their life, and I initially thought this as well. I didn't think that there was anybody that I could trust. I grew up with a lot of trust issues, and trust was something that I found very, very difficult to have in people. It was only when I started to really explore this that I realized that I do have these marble jar friends, as Brené Brown put in her many books, because trust is built in small moments. And in the end, it came more down to me being afraid of rejection than wanting to be helped. And once I recognized that I was just scared of being rejected, it became a little less scary to actually go out and do it. The thing with fear is that if you can identify it, a lot of times you'll be taking away its power. So I identified that fear of rejection in myself, and I got to move forward from there. But if there is at the moment genuinely nobody in your life that you can trust, nobody that you can envelop into a support network, let's say as an extreme example, you've just moved to a country and you have no friends or family in that country at all, and you're trying to set up a new life for yourself, and that could be pretty stressful, I would imagine. How would you go about building up a support network? Well, the first thing is to remember that we are all connected, every single one of us. If you're watching this video, then you are connected to billions of other people through this thing called the internet. There are billions of people on Facebook, on Twitter, Instagram, and you can find Facebook groups, forums, things like that, where you can connect to people who are going through the same problems as you and who are willing to be supportive. Now, the only downside I would say to things like Facebook groups and forums is that sometimes that they can become a bit of a pit of despair, and people kind of use it to just vent all of their frustrations and all of their angers, all of their problems, and never give back. Nobody is there to try and kind of fix the problem. It's all there as a sounding board to just shout and scream, and it can become a very negative environment in that way. So I would be careful of getting too involved with groups and forums and things like that, where it's more about complaining rather than action taking and genuine support. You can join clubs or societies. There is a website called meetup.com where you can find all kinds of different clubs, societies, and just people meeting up, as the site suggests, to do all kinds of things. There is something on there for everyone. If you want to join a sewing club, you can join a sewing club. If you want to join a running club, join a running club. If you want to join a debate team, you can do that as well. It is all there. And even if you can't find a specific meetup that you want, you can start your own as well, and I guarantee that there will be at least a few people out there who will be willing to join as well. So join a club, join a society, join something like that. You could also consider taking some kind of class. Maybe that would mean going back to college, going back to university, or just doing some kind of weekend course where you are regularly interacting with people, and that can be a really, really good place to meet friends and meet people who could eventually become part of your support network. Now, everyone you meet is not necessarily going to be eligible to be a part of your support network, but it is good to go out and meet people as often as you possibly can. And there's loads and loads of different examples and ideas that I could bring up about where you can meet people, where you can make friends, where you can form this support network over time. Another good example is actually going to the gym. People in the gym only look scary because they're really, really concentrating, but you'll find kind of 99% of people in the gym are very, very friendly, very, very helpful, and as long as you don't interrupt them mid-set, oftentimes they're actually willing to have a chat with you as well. And it's a very easy way to make friends because you immediately have something in common. You like working out or whatever it is. You both like running on the treadmill, you both like the ellipticals, you're both interested in beating your deadlift record or something like that. So go out there, try and meet new people. Even if you do have an established network, it's great to get out there and meet new people as often as you possibly can. Now, here are a few simple guidelines to always keep in mind when you are building a support network. The first thing is to remember that it is a two-way street. With support networks, there's always going to be a give and a take. So on certain days you will be the one taking the support, and on other days you will be the one giving it, and that is all part of the game. It's not all about you. This network is about a bunch of people helping each other, even if it isn't a formalized network. Definitely don't dump or vent all of your problems at people. That's not going to be helpful, and it can be a very, very selfish thing to do. So make sure that you are being respectful of other people and of their time, and that you're not, as I said already, making it all about you. Don't become overly dependent on your support network either. As I've said, at the end of the day, you have to build up your reliance on yourself. You have to be responsible for your actions. People can help you, people can give you advice, people can support you, but there is nobody that can actually go out there and do the things you need to do. At the end of the day, you have to do that yourself. Make sure that you are always being empathetic and kind if you are on the giving side of the support network, always making sure that you are holding a place of empathy within you, not feeling sorry for the person, rather feeling with them, because we can all relate in one way or another with what somebody is going through, and we don't have to pretend, we don't have to have pity for them, we just have to be able to feel with them in that moment, and that is what empathy is all about. It's I feel with you, not I feel for you. And then the final thing is that you must embrace the vulnerability of it, because there is a lot of vulnerability when it comes to a support network. You're sharing intimate problems that you are really struggling with in certain cases, whether that be a personal, emotional, mental health, whatever it is, and that can be scary. You have to be able to embrace that vulnerability and know that sometimes you're not going to get the response that you thought that you were going to get, and that is absolutely okay as well. Remembering that you are in charge of your actions, but also you are in charge of the way that you respond and react to things as well. So as my final thoughts, I highly recommend that you go out and start to develop your own support network in your life. It has been an absolutely essential thing for me, and my life has been made a lot better by developing a support network over time. Remember that these things do take a little bit of time to develop. Don't expect to be able to build a support network all at once. As I said, these are networks made up of marble jar friends, which are made up of marble jar moments. And I do recommend that you actually go out and read some of Brené Brown's books on vulnerability, shame, empathy, things like that, because they will also be very, very helpful for you when it comes to building this support network, not just for yourself, but for other people as well. So I hope you have found this video useful. If you have done, please make sure to leave a like on the video and a comment as well. Let me know what it is that you're going to be doing to transform your life. If you want to see more videos like this, check out my last video, which was my February 2020 goals report, where I talked about my goals progress and what I'm doing to become the best version of myself in the year 2020. Or you can check out my other video, which was out recently, on how to get out of a rut in your life. But otherwise, thank you very much for watching this video. Don't forget to subscribe to Life Transformation UK if you haven't done already, and I look forward to seeing you in future videos very soon.